Hey guys, what's up, man? What's up? So, in this video, we will learn about whatever weird ass code we saw last time. We'll try to understand it, like what purpose it has. As I told you, you don't have to actually remember what was the code, but I mean, this was the code actually, right? So you don't have to remember it. Like, we just have to understand it. Okay, ignore all my notifications. Yep. So, um, yeah, rendering in JavaScript plus XML, that is JavaScript plus HTML. This entirely new type of codes we are doing here. Let's examine the code that you just wrote in the last exercise. This is right. I didn't write it. I just copied and pasted it. This is what you recommended me doing. Okay, const container. Let me just expand it a bit so that you can see it. Const container document dot get element by ID, and inside it we have passed in a text name app. Okay, const root equals create root container. What? Root dot render, and in parenthesis we have put in our HTML element. Oh, I don't feel good. I feel good. Okay. Okay. Before we get started, in an essential understanding that the React relies on two things to render: what content to render and where to place the content. Always remember what content to render and where to place the content. Okay, with that in mind, let's look what content to render and where to place the render. Okay. Oh, where to place the content? What content to render? Okay. Const container document get element by ID, and we have put in app. This line, the use of the document object, as I told you in the last video, that document is an object. Let's just have a little bit of more understanding of that. So document interface represent on a web page loads the browser server. So okay, whenever you are represent with something and you don't feel like reading it, I don't feel like reading anything. Anyways, just like copy this, okay? Like as far as you can, like till here, if you could read and then like go to Chat GPT, okay, and just ask it simply, summarize the main important things and make it short and very easy to understand. Okay. Okay, this I meant. Okay. The document interface represents on any web page loaded in the browser and provides access to the content forming document object model. This is very important. Let's try to understand. Document interface represent any web page loaded in the browser provides an access to its content forming the DOM. I told you, right? I showed you DOM, right? What's a DOM is like. So let me just show you DOM. DOM, like this. For example, it was document. Remember, document object. It just divides itself into many parts, and these parts are called nodes. And the entire thing, when combined together and forms these kind of a tree-like structure, this is called DOM. Entire elements of HTML are inside this DOM. Okay. A DOM tree can include elements like body, tables, paragraph tags, and everything it can contain. Head it can contain, and inside the head it can title and everything. Every damn element you see inside an HTML file that can be broken down into a table like this, and this is called DOM. कगर कगर मोरा इतनी अरज मोह चुन चुन खाइयो मान. Functionality offers global functions to interact with the document, like getting the URL and creating new elements. I don't fucking care. I don't fucking understand what shit this is. Document types. Okay, so for now we can ignore this shit. Okay, we just got to understand the main point. So uses the DOM object which represents our web page. What? So here this line uses the document object. Oh yeah, in document we use dot operator to get inside, to access the contents of an object, use dot. So inside this document object we have get elements by id. This function is as a value, it is present there. What does it mean? Like for example, we have an object, okay, object in JS, having a function as a key. Let me just show you an image of this. Oh, so it sounds like a horror movie. Um, some creature. Let me just show ChatGPT. Where the fuck is ChatGPT? You didn't see that. Okay, so just having functionality. Okay. Okay, so what the fuck? Okay. I just made a blunder, I feel. Okay, let's search. Can an object have a function inside it? Can it? Yes, objects in JavaScript have functions properties. Okay, so for example, like this is what I meant. For example, this was our object, and it contains, let's say, greet name of a function, and inside there is a function wherein we can pass in an argument. You understand what I'm trying to point towards, right? To forget it, let's not get into detail. Uses the document object which represents our web page. Of course, the document object will actually represent our web page. What do I mean by that? Let me just open VS Code. Oh, not even open VS Code. Like okay. Control K O, and open desktop, and go on HTML, and let's just select this folder, and inside the folder you can see here at the very top only we define our doc type. What is that? Document type, and HTML. It is an HTML document. So this is the head, the root of the HTML. So HTML file. So it is the parent. So of course it will represent our website. So uses the document object which represents our web page. Of course. Uses the get elements by id method. Methods are simply functions or pre-installed functions. I don't know how to explain this. Like you can refer to some YouTube videos, like what are methods in JavaScript. Nothing but basically, if you want to do something, like for example, okay, let me just search for, why am I going deep in this? Common JavaScript methods. Like for example, maps. It will be very much used. Maps is just like a very hi-fi way of using a for loop and getting output out of it. Forget that. We have filter every. Shouldn't we share some easy ones? Split. So for example, this one. Just have a look at this one. So we created a string text1, text2, text3 separated by commas, but this entire thing is a string. So we create another variable named splitted, but this splitted will contain an array. Why? Because on the initial string variable we created, we are applying split method in it. Since we apply split method in it, it will take this one out and put it in a separate place, put this one out and put it in a separate place, and this one out and put it in a separate place here. So these were separated by commas. So commas are removed, and then we have whatever text we are left with are separated. Okay, now these are separated and placed by that I meant they are given position. This is 0 index, 1 index, 2 index. So it starts from 0, 1, 2. These are the positions, the places, the location, you can say, given to the array, location number given to the array. So you see, dot split is a method used here. Method is a pre-installed function which helps us do some task like dividing the string into text1, text2, text3 and storing that in an array. Understand? You better understand. I don't know where I heard this dialogue. Maybe in my childhood days. Use the get elements by ID method of the document to get the element object representing the HTML element with the passed in. Okay, this gets complicated here. Uses the get elements ID method of document. What does it mean? So for that means inside the document object we have get element by ID as a key. What do I mean by that is, for example, this is our object. Okay, object. Okay, what does the object document object looks from inside? This is a good question, right? Let's see what are the different things present inside the document object. So we have common methods present inside it, like get elements by ID. So represent it into. Do you see this? As I told you, right? Like these are the different kinds of you see methods or functions present inside the document object. So you can access all of them just using the dot notation. And herein we have just used a dot notation. Where the fuck have we used dot notation to get elements by ID? This function, this one, get element by ID. This method, this function you have accessed. How? You have just put a dot notation after that, after the document object. And we have specified app as a text. What does it mean? Uses get elements by ID method of the document to get the element object. To get the element object. Makes no sense. What do you mean element object? Okay. Okay, let's just, when you don't understand something, just copy it and just make me understand in the layman terms. Because I'm a layman. So, document. Finding the element by ID. Every HTML element like button, paragraph, or division can be uniquely identifier by an ID. This helps us identify a particular element from other. We use get elements by ID method of the document object to tell the browser the following thing. Hey browser, I'm looking at the entire web page and find the element that has an ID app. What does it mean? I mean, for example, you created an element. Let's say, what do you mean? Let's say, let's go back. Okay, we have some example back there. I'm unable to go back. Okay, maybe we can't go back. For example, here in the h1 tag, if you type after the h1 here only, if you put at this very place here at this region, if you put in ID equals to some string, let's say ID equals to app, then it will access h1 tag. Got it? Okay. Representing the HTML element that is passed in the ID app. Stores the element in container. And then it stores that elements in the container. And the next line, const root equals to create root container. What does it mean? So basically I can understand what it's saying. It's saying create a new DOM, okay, and make the newly fetched element which is present inside the container, make it its head, its king. Okay, we use create root from the React DOM client library, React DOM library. Zimport, what the fuck? What does it? Let's reset it. Should be import, right? Yeah, import. So from React, this is React in quotes, this is the React library, okay? Understand? This is React, import React from React library. Okay. and import create root, this method. Okay, create root from React DOM client. This is also a library of React, and it stores okay, create room for which creates a React root from container and stores it in the root. And किस पे store करता है? In the root. Can be used to render JSX expression. This is where to place the content part, the React rendering. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back. Before we get started, is understand two things: what to render. How did we get that? Using document get elements by id app. This is what we want. We want an element which has an id app, and put all of this where? In the container. Okay, now what we need to do, you'll use create root function or method which we have borrowed from where? From React DOM client, and then pass in our newly create container inside the elements which contains the app id is present. Okay, okay, and after that it is easy only. Okay, okay, in the next line, const root is equals to create root container. We use create root from this. I think I read this one. Root can be used to render a JSX expression. Now this created root can be used to render a JavaScript expression. This is where to place the content. Where do you want to place it? Okay. Finally, the last line, root.render method helps us to render what we want to render. So what is inside the root? Basically, root is nothing but we can say it's a DOM. Okay, it creates the head of the DOM, that graph that creates the head of the DOM in which the ID is present, in which the element with a certain ID is present. Okay, and in order to render that, we use .render method. Okay, and the use of the render method of the root to render the content passed as an argument. Here we pass h1 element which displays help. I'm sorry, it's getting very boring because it's getting boring actually. The use of the render method of the root to render the content. Okay, okay, root is also an, what is root, man? Root is a variable. So in which we apply render method. Render method of the root to render the content passed in an argument. Argument means whatever put in between the parentheses. Hopefully my video is getting recorded. I'll be dead if it isn't. It is. This is what content to render. What content to render is decided by that. So whatever you put in here will get rendered. I mean, it's kind of a headache, right? I mean, kind of things are not clicking right now, but okay, it's fine. Below the important statements, define the constant called container. Write the code here. Const. Just write. Below the important statements, write the code here. Define a constant called container, and set it to this value. Document.get element by the ID container. So we can't save it. I was control S-ing it. Let's run it. So first one ran, second one. Next, define a constant called root and set its value equal to the expression. Okay, next, create root container. So it will make the head of the DOM, I guess. So let's run it. Okay, it also. Finally, paste the following expression to render. What does it mean? Like this created root variable which contains, you know what? Wait, no, what is this? What is this root? I don't fucking care. Not render. Will write it on my own. H1 tag. And inside hello world. Okay, correct. H1. So we just put semicolon at the end and hope it to run. It did. So we got output as hello world. So I think there the confusion you must be having is that what is this root then? It says that the root becomes, what is the root becomes here? Let's just give it a search. Again, we'll ask. In layman, I don't know if the spelling is correct. Terms, explain me. Explain me. No, 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 no. Okay, let's just copy it again. I stopped the processing of this. In layman terms, explain me what will the root become now and what it would look visually. Okay, how it should look visual, that's my question. Explanation. Let's be breaking down in simple terms. Const. In this way, you create a variable that can change later. Fuck you, we know that. Create root container. This function takes an HTML element called container and prepares it to you to add React components to it. What? Makes no sense. Does it make sense? No. Putting it all together, const root, you are saying create a special React workspace inside the container element and call the workspace as root. Okay, what root becomes? Root becomes an object that represents this special React workplace. Okay, container element, workplace inside a container element. You can use a root to control what React components to display inside the container. How do we do that? Visual representation. Before React container, you just have an empty box like this. After creating React container, you have a special React workplace created here inside this, the div. Using okay, container. So, oh, this is cool. Wow, do you notice this? So before it was like this. It was very alone, bechara sa. And after that, after making it after creating a root, it becomes a special workplace to work for us. Okay, workspace is created for us only inside the elements with a ID app for them only. Now it says now you can use root. Okay, now you can use root to now when you pass inside the root and you try to render it this thing, so this thing will be pasted. How do I show? This thing will be pasted inside it without you actually going to type it. Helps you place and control what goes inside the container in a structured way. Okay, got it? It's very cool, man. You understood what I'm saying, right? Just it just automates a lot of things with you for you. Hopefully we are good to go now. Okay, somebody is asking, is the React DOM library built into the React library? Make sense? No. You want to get more confused? No. Let's move forward. Why the net isn't working? Whatever. So we will catch you up in the next video.